guys, it's Laurel here with the Daily Dirt. And oh my God, can you believe what happened yesterday? I couldn't have predicted something like that would happen ever. I mean, pretty much that's how 2020 has been. We've made it whole 5 days into 2021 without something going crazy. So good job, 2021. We had 5 calm days. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of these clips. I know that a lot of politicians and congressmen and women are calling for Trump to be impeached or remove him by using the 25th Amendment. So let's take a look at this clip explaining how the 25th Amendment works and what they can do with it.
Pete Williams, I want to go to you, and I want to pick up on the thread about the president being held accountable here. As Kristen explained at the top of the show, there are some informal discussions we've heard from sources about potentially invoking the 25th Amendment. It's one option. Frankly, it may not be realistic here, but in general, what can be done at this point for people who do want to hold the president responsible in some way for what happened?
So the 25th Amendment was never intended to be a form of punishment. It's only intended to relieve the president if he can't carry out the duties of his office. I went back and looked at some of the discussion that was on the House and Senate floor when it was considered and adopted. Became the law in 1967 after the Kennedy assassination. And it basically says if the president is simply unable to function, that was kind of the idea of it. So does it fit the original description? Maybe.
And I just want to add in here, look at this footage. I mean, that's just a disgrace, honestly, really.
Maybe not. It does take a majority of the cabinet and the vice president together telling Congress that the president has to be relieved because he can't carry out the duties of his office. So that's one option. A second option being discussed is passing articles of impeachment in the House, even though there wouldn't be time for a trial in the Senate. On both of those options, some of the members of Congress I've talked to this morning wonder how effective they would be and whether they would simply further inflame the situation and make those sorts of people that stormed the Capitol yesterday even crazier. The other possibility, of course, is prosecution. Now, obviously, a sitting president cannot be prosecuted, but after he's no longer in office, the president could be investigated to see whether there was an incitement. That's another possibility. So, frankly, none of them seem all that likely at this point. But, you know, the events of yesterday didn't seem all that likely 24 hours ago either.
Well, that's interesting. I definitely don't think that they're going to go the impeachment route just because they don't even have time to do it. There's only 2 weeks left. I just really wonder if Trump has angered enough people that they don't even want to wait for him to finish the 2 weeks out and they just want to get him out of there and get him out of there now. Now, let's take a look at what Nancy Pelosi thinks about what happened yesterday.
Yesterday, the President of the United States incited an armed insurrection against America. The gleeful desecration of the U.S. Capitol, which is the temple of our American democracy, and the violence targeting Congress are horrors that will forever stain our nation's history, instigated by the President of the United States. That's why it's such a stain. In calling for this seditious act, the President has committed an unspeakable assault on our nation and our people. I join the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the Vice President to remove this president by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment. If the Vice President and the Cabinet do not act, the Congress may be prepared to move forward with impeachment. That is the overwhelming sentiment of my caucus.
Boy, wouldn't Nancy be happy to get him impeached. I mean, that woman's been trying to impeach him since he got in there. So, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I'm interested to see if Trump decides to hide out for the next 2 weeks and not be in the eye at all. He can't tweet or post on Facebook or Instagram because he got himself suspended from there. So I'm interested to see if he's going to try and hide out for the next 2 weeks or if he's going to make a public apology or who knows what's going on in his mind, because What a nightmare yesterday. Now, since yesterday, there has been the first charges filed. Let's take a look.
Tom Winter, there are arrests that are being made on the Capitol right now for those who had stormed the Capitol yesterday, including one man who was armed with a 9mm with ammunition and a bulletproof vest. What else are you learning?
That's right, Katie. A federal judge has just unsealed a criminal complaint against a person identified as Christopher Alberts, who apparently was arrested yesterday approximately 7:30 p.m. In the course of clearing the Capitol. When they made this arrest, this individual apparently had, as you said, a handgun on him, as well as a bulletproof vest, 12 rounds of ammo, and a bullet in the chamber. So that was one of the individuals that was arrested, slow leaving the scene, according to the court documents. Last night, another individual, and I'm still working on that person's name, was also arrested for repeatedly punching an officer with a closed fist, according to the statement of facts in that criminal complaint. So today what we're getting is kind of a very bare bones charging document, not one of these big, expansive indictments that we might see on a normal, in a normal case that develops. These are kind of just the basic facts in order for the feds to move forward with a federal case here and have the necessary facts just to make an arrest. So we're getting preliminary details here right now, Katie, but bottom line is at least 2 individuals have been charged. And I'm just checking here because I may have just received an update with additional charges. The other individual is identified as Mark Leffingwell. That's the other person I was thinking of. He's been charged with trespassing, assaulting a federal law enforcement officer, and violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. So that was the person I talked about who struck the officer. The other person, Christopher Alberts, apparently tried to flee when he was talked to once he was identified by law enforcement. He said when he was questioned, according to the court documents, he said he was carrying the gun for protection and did not intend on using the firearm to harm anyone. The ages and hometowns of these individuals have not been included in the charging documents, according to Pete Williams, who just updated us on this. So bottom line is 2 people charged federally. Certainly expect more based on the statements from the acting attorney general, Jeffrey Rosen, and some of the other federal law enforcement agencies that are involved in this. D.C. has very strict gun laws, and of course, carrying a loaded handgun on the Capitol grounds is not legal. So that's the initial where we're at with respect to the federal charges. We have some 80-odd arrests or so at this point between Capitol Police. Those are D.C. charges, not federal charges per se, as well as local police there.
Okay, so it's good to see that they've caught some of the people and they're able to charge them with whatever they're guilty of. You know, I don't really get the whole point of yesterday. I understand completely meeting and having a rally, and that's fine. But what did they think they were going to accomplish anyway by storming the Capitol? Like, did they plan to hold Nancy Pelosi and other congressmen at gunpoint until they agreed to let Trump be president the next 4 years? I mean, nothing good was going to come out of what they did yesterday. I can't fathom what is going through these people's minds thinking that they're going to get something accomplished other than going to jail for storming the Capitol. Let me know your thoughts down below. Well, that's all we have for you today. Hopefully, we won't have any more issues like this for the next few weeks, maybe. Maybe 2020 would be good to us. You can click on this video next to watch our newest video on the Daily Dirt. And the video on this side, you can click on to watch a video about the $2,000 stimulus and what's going on with that. Thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.